Am I the idiot for becoming that parent by causing a stink at my daughter's school? My daughter, Cleo, 11, is very active outside of school. She plays soccer, takes swim lessons, and will play outside a lot with neighborhood kids. She's very social. Most of her friends are from outside of school. At school, however, she struggles making friends. Cleo has ADHD and was bullied in 3rd and 4th grade for some of that. While it was brought under control by 5th, current grade, these kids still don't play with her and pretty much ice her out. While I don't think they have to play with her, it also means that she doesn't socialize a lot at school. She's okay with this. Her teacher says our daughter often plays alone at recess or reads. My wife and I were not very concerned and explained she's very social and active afterwards. Cleo is a huge reader. She's currently reading her way through my wife's collection of books from her childhood. She loves them and treasures them, knowing they were her mama's and wants to take great care of them. She came home on Tuesday, very upset and worried her mom would be upset with her. I asked why and she said her teacher took her book away and won't give it back until tomorrow. When pressed for more information, she said she was reading at recess. Her teacher walked over, took the book and told her to go play. My daughter begged for her book back and the teacher refused. I quickly assured Cleo that she wasn't in trouble and even called my wife at work to have her back me up. It was quite concerning that she was so afraid, as my wife isn't one to fly off the handle. She's always gentle with Cleo. As suspected, my wife assured her she wasn't upset and that Cleo did zero wrong. The next day, I brought Cleo to school early and walked her to class. No one but the teacher was there. I told the teacher to give me the book. She obliged and tried to defend herself. I told her to save it and she had no right. There is no rule that Cleo has to do physical activity at recess and we expressed no concern. The teacher said she was allowed to set boundaries for her class, but I pointed out recess was free time. It's not like Cleo is reading during math. We went back and forth, and finally I said I'd be reaching out to the principal. The issue was resolved quickly. I don't know the particulars, except the principal told me that Cleo is allowed to read at recess and unless she is actively harming someone or reading, during a non-designated time, she wouldn't have any more books confiscated. My wife and I were pleased. Cleo even more so. My cousin is a teacher at this school, just a different grade. She says what I did is hot gossip in the teacher's lounge and that I have been marked as one of those parents. She says the teacher isn't paid enough and I should have just accepted the rule. When I pointed out we only have 2 more months left at this school, Cleo is our only and starts junior high in August. That's not a concern. My wife and I feel justified, but we are wondering if I'm an asshole? Comment 1. These are 2 separate issues. But creating more work may not be the case. Recess is not teacher free time, and also, the push for SEL reintegration in schools post-COVID has led to teachers being asked/told to make sure kids are engaging with each other at free time to rebuild skills. It's a push at my district, and while the teacher should not have taken the book after addressing it with the parent, she may still be caught in the middle between parents who are upset and an admin who is telling her to do what the parents are upset about. Likely the venting was made based on frustrations like this. It's been a long couple years for teachers. Just saying, there's a lot that goes into a teacher's job. We have many different bosses, and when both want something the other doesn't, we get caught in the crossfire. Again, the teacher was wrong to take the book, but other things can also be true here. Comment 2. That makes zero sense. If she was following the instructions of the admin, then that would have been mentioned in the first conversation with the parents. She would also have referred the parents to the admin when they asked for the return of the book. This is just a teacher who, for whatever reason, has decided to assert her power over an innocent child. Baffles me why people try to pretend that shitty teachers don't exist. Now for the next story. Am I the idiot for jumping out of a bathroom window to avoid my mom's attempt at forcing a reunion between me and my ex-fiancé? Some backstory: I had been dating my ex-fiancé Sarah for 4 years. We had been planning to get married in November 2020, but I found out at the start of this month that she cheated on me. She begged me to give her another chance, but I broke it off. The problem was that being cheated on is, in my mind, completely emasculating and humiliating. So I never told anyone that was the reason we broke up. For obvious reasons, Sarah also didn't tell people we broke up because she cheated. So people have blamed me for the breakup, including my mom. They just see that I dumped her out of the blue. I've gone very strict no contact with Sarah after I discovered she was cheating on me. Sarah has been talking with my mom and has convinced her that if we could talk one more time, we would be able to reconcile. My mom has been applying hardcore pressure on me to talk with Sarah, but I've explained that there's no chance we will ever get back together. So tonight, I go over to my mom's place because she's hosting family for Christmas Eve. I'm there for a bit talking with my aunts and uncles and cousins when the doorbell rings and I can see it's Sarah. I ask WTF is going on and my mom says she invited Sarah so we can work this out in the spirit of the holidays. I'm pissed now because the only way to explain my side of the story is to tell everyone I was cheated on. Complete humiliation in front of my whole family. So as my mom goes to the front door, I go into the bathroom. My mom starts knocking on the door saying that I need to come out and talk to my ex like an adult. I say fuck it, kick out the window screen and get in my car and go home. My mom called a short while ago saying she's cutting ties with me over my behavior. She's really fixated on me jumping out of a window, and that Sarah will always be like a child to her. My sister called me after to ream me out for ruining Christmas. I broke down and told her that Sarah cheated on me, which is why I dumped her and didn't want to see her under any circumstances. She called me a big asshole who was lying to cover for myself. Am I really in the wrong? Comment 1. I gotta say though that op honestly shoulda came clean at some point before it escalated to any of this. Yes, it shouldn't have been his family's business at. And yes, she should have believed him when he said that he was cheated on. But come on, when you reach the point that you have to essentially break out of your mom's bathroom to get to your car and drive away to avoid telling someone what happened, you have to take a step back and see how that looks to people. Having said that, I think op needs a long hard break from just about everybody and needs time to himself. Comment 2. OP already did that. This story is about her breaking that boundary he already set at the breakup by telling her they were over and telling ex never to contact him again. The proper way to deal with cheating stalkers who follow you to your family's holiday party is to go full no contact and never talk to them again, like OP is doing. The ex even said, if OP would just talk to her just one more time they'd get back together. That's a sign of obsession and refusing OP's decision. He needs to never say another word to her. Now for the next story. Am I the idiot for faking sleeping all night to see if my wife is lying? The past couple of months, my wife has been complaining about our cats. She's been claiming that the cats wake her up constantly and that she's frustrated every night that she has to get up and open the door for the cats, or the cats keep making noises, or the cats keep jumping on her. It got to the point where she started saying she wants me to get rid of them. I told her I've never seen or heard any of this, but she claims I sleep through it all. She kept telling me she was getting less and less sleep and kept acting aggressive, blaming lack of sleep from the cats, and that if I didn't get rid of them, she'd leave me. I legitimately started considering giving the cats to my sister until I noticed something. One morning she claimed she had gotten up multiple times throughout the night to help the cats. She listed a bunch of times. I thought it was weird, because I had been up until 4 a.m., and she claimed that she got up at 1 a.m. to open the door for them, and a few times around 3 a.m. because they were meowing and jumping on her. I was in the bedroom the entire time while she slept, and I know none of that happened. Things weren't adding up, so I decided to run a test. I waited until she said she was going to bed, then I let the cats out of our bedroom, lowered my phone brightness, and faked going to sleep. I just laid there in bed for the entire night, bored, but I definitely did not fall asleep. I made sure to make timestamps every 30 minutes on my phone through Discord just to be sure. I marked down every noise my cats made. One cat had jumped down from something and made a little sound at 3:18 a.m., and one ate food relatively quietly by the bedroom door at 4:57 a.m. Other than that, nothing happened. Sure enough, my wife slept from 11 p.m. until 9 a.m., and that morning she claimed she had woken up at least 7 times to open doors and from cat noises and cats jumping on her. At this point I was pissed because she was clearly lying to me. I was exhausted and fed up with the lies, so I just bluntly called her out on it. I told her, "That's funny. I stayed up all night to monitor the cats, and they weren't even in the room at all last night. I have timestamps and everything. So you've been lying to me and trying to convince me to get rid of my cats? Why?" She just sat there quietly shaking and looking pissed, then got up and left without answering. She came back hours later and ignored me whenever I talked, and when I asked her how I'm the bad guy in this situation, she finally said that I was treating her like a child by lying about sleeping and staying up all night just to see if she was lying or not, and that making timestamps and everything as if I was an investigator was going too far, and makes me an obsessive asshole. I did it because she was threatening to make me get rid of my cats or she'd leave me, and her claims didn't add up. So, am I an obsessive asshole? Update. My wife has been Baker acted. She did not hurt herself, just said something concerning in public. I got a call from the hospital this morning, asking me to head over for some family therapy. Apparently she finally wanted to talk. I'll be honest, I'm pretty pissed at the reason why she's been so hateful towards my cats. It's absolutely asinine. It's nothing that anyone had suggested. She's not cheating. She's not sick physically or mentally. She's not bored of the relationship and looking for an out. According to her, one of the cats stepped on her laptop and ruined a story she was writing. She's hated both cats ever since. I mean, that sucks, but it's not worth trying to emotionally blackmail me into getting rid of them. I asked her why she didn't just tell me the truth and why she'd been lying and refused to talk about it when I'd asked. Her answer was, "Because you wouldn't have gotten rid of them otherwise." And explained that when she saw I wasn't willing to abandon them for her, she took offense and made it a goal to have me pick her over them. Sickening. Don't know why she actually admitted to it all. The woman with us asked me how I felt about all of it, and I just told the truth. I told her it was a nice run, but I'm probably going to want a divorce. I was asked why, and I told them. I've seen a new hateful, malicious side of her that I want nothing to do with. She was so set on getting rid of the cats over a fanfiction being ruined that she manipulated her husband. My wife started shouting at me that I've betrayed her and that I'm a scum for choosing animals over her. At least cats don't give ultimatums like she gave. It sucks that she's been Baker acted and all, I guess, but it's for the best right now. She'll have time to process it all in a safe environment and hopefully come to terms with it. Bad husband, I know. I'm almost sure I'm going for divorce. I'm very worried about having her in the same house as my cats. I want my cats safe. I don't want to worry about them being harmed or disappearing. Screw that. I guess I'll do what almost all of you suggested, keep the cats, rehome the wife. Not how I wanted it to end, but life isn't always nice. If I may, I want to clear up some things from the original post. I did not stare at her all night. We have a mute TV with subtitles playing every night. I subtly watch TV while paying attention to the cat sounds. I'm not allowed to install cat doors, and she won't let me keep the doors open. Apartment rules. Why did I instantly assume she was lying? I'm unfamiliar with mental health diseases. I know about some diseases, but ones that make you think your dreams happened? Tumors that make you see, hear, remember non-existent things? Sorry that I wasn't aware of those possibilities. So when someone tells me events happened when they literally didn't, I generally assume they're lying. Shame on me. Comment 1. If he was narcissistic, but he was abusive, but my ex would pick at me and would be awful until I snapped and cried. Or told him he was behaving horribly and he would cry and say I was bullying him and making him feel like a monster. Then I took that to heart and thought I was a bad person. Comment 2. I believe they know they are doing it, but it's a personality reflex. This can vary. Narcissism is a spectrum. All of us have narcissistic moments and traits, but for most it's minimal and we have enough self-awareness and empathy to usually catch ourselves behaving that way and stop and/or apologize. Someone farther down the spectrum, someone we would consider a narcissist, worse, a toxic narcissist. Sometimes it's a reflexive response to hide and protect the fragile ego they try so hard to keep covered up. A defense mechanism stemming from deeper issues. Sometimes it's calculated and thought out, and they know exactly what they're doing. I've had the good fortune of having dated two of them underscore. One was just kind of the run-of-the-mill angry, oversensitive, toxic narcissist. He mostly just reflexively reacted with anger and nagging and gaslighting. The other was a full-blown sociopathic narcissist. Sounds like a dramatic label, I know, but I'm not exaggerating. It's a long story, but suffice it to say he's a self-serving monster with zero sense of empathy or remorse. After 5 years I found out everything I knew about him was a lie. He was that good. He knew exactly what he was doing, how to play everyone around him, how to manipulate and isolate me. He was very calm and calculated and planned all of his elaborate lies. Even after I blew the lid off of his sham publicly, a sham that hurt and used multiple people, not just me, and people believed it, he literally left town once the truth came out. It was pretty obvious he was guilty. Some people still forgave him and accepted him back as a friend. He was that good. Anyway, just trying to kind of explain where I'm coming from, that I know what you're going through. Because I went through those same mental battles. I have been where you are, and you sound a lot like me. A little insecure, highly tuned to how you make the people around you feel, quick to apologize and feel bad if you've rocked the boat, wanting to give people the benefit of the doubt. Empathy, compassion, and wanting to see the good in people are admirable and good traits, but sadly they make us easy targets for people like that. I don't know you or your relationship, but the best advice I can give you is trust your gut and look out for yourself. It sounds like you already know what's going on, how you're being treated, that it's wrong. Don't spend any more time letting your mental health dwindle away at the hands of someone who doesn't care about it. If your instincts are telling you something is wrong, listen. Being highly empathetic is a double-edged sword. We've got good instincts about people and can pick up their vibes more easily, but we're so sensitive to how they feel and worry about how we might make them feel that we suppress those instincts for their sake, whether they deserve it or not. Speak to a therapist to help you get some third-party objective insight. I'm not trying to tell you you're deaf with a narcissist that's hurting you. I'm not trying to be that Reddit cliché of crying out red flag and insisting you leave. I don't know nearly enough about you to make any of those judgment calls. You do though, you do know. So again, the best advice I can give is trust your own gut and don't be afraid to put your well-being first if you're being mistreated. Feel free to DM if you need a little moral support. If that's really the situation you're in and you decide you want to act on it, I know how hard it is to muster up the nerve to call them out and then walk away. I know I couldn't have done it alone. It took a good friend finally catching me letting my guard down and talking about how bad it was and seeing through the whole facade, and supporting me and backing me up when I finally made my move and got out. Stay safe, happy, and healthy.